Welcome to the HerbmanT podcast. I am your host, HerbmanT.
Spectate.
I'm feeling real good. Hello. Today I'm going to be talking about herbs, stress, and energy, or herbs to help promote stress and energy. But first, I'm going to talk about the tissues in the body you should be focusing on when correcting these issues or when looking for herbs to correct whatever problem you're having. And these tissues you should focus on are a part of the endocrine system. All right, so the endocrine system deals with your hormones. The endocrine system controls essentially all other functions in the body, from metabolism to skin function, your sleep wake cycle, etc. Reproductive function. But what I'm stuck on is metabolism, specifically sugar metabolism. So, and when dealing with sugar metabolism, you got to focus on the adrenals and the pancreas. And a lot of people are having pancreatic problems, especially as they get older. They're having an issue with processing or metabolizing sugar, specifically glucose from all this starch that we are consuming, or these complex carbohydrates. But to talk about the endocrine system a little bit more, so basically the hypothalamus, in my opinion, truly controls the entire endocrine system. But what you would hear being the master gland of the endocrine system would be the pituitary gland. But the hypothalamus actually tells the pituitary gland whether or not to inhibit or secrete hormones. The pituitary gland then sends signals to all these other tissues, so that they can then do their function. For example, the pituitary gland sends signals to the thyroid, parathyroid, adrenal glands, as well as the pancreas, also the ovaries and the testes as well. That way, it can help get them going. Now, when dealing with stress or you want energy, the main tissues to focus on would be the adrenal glands. All right. And the adrenal glands deals with your fight or flight. So whenever you run into problems, whenever you feel threatened, the adrenal glands are activated and sends a signal to the hypothalamus to the pituitary gland back to the adrenals, and it's raising your blood pressure and getting you ready to run or stand your ground and fight. When this happens long enough, eventually you're going to become fatigued. You're going to get tired. You could have sleep problems. You could have high cortisol levels, etc. And when the adrenal glands begin to malfunction, you'll hear things like Cushing syndrome, adrenal gland suppression, and much more. But understand that no matter what it is, what problem you're having in the adrenal glands, no matter what problem they say you're having in the adrenal glands, you always want to make sure you're focusing on the endocrine system as a whole. But more importantly, in herbal action, you want to focus on when correcting the adrenal gland issue will be adaptogens. So you have basil or even holy basil, also known as Tosi, that could help. What I have in front of me is some licorice root. Licorice root, considered an adrenal gland tonic. It's great for working on that HPA axis, or that fight or flight function that our body goes through, with the adrenal glands sending signals to the hypothalamus as well as the pituitary gland. And it helps to strengthen that entire function and prepare you better for fight or flight mode. The licorice root is sweet, extremely sweet, and it's also a demulcent as well. And it can raise blood pressure. So if you do have high blood pressure already, you do not want to use licorice root, because it will continue to raise your high blood pressure. Now, I had some tabs open here earlier, but I don't know what happened to them. to give you a little bit more details on these herbs. I'm going to work on saying herbs now instead of saying herbs. Yeah, so the herbs I'm going to talk about, licorice root being the first one, lemon balm, as well as astragalus root. All right, and since I'm on licorice root, again, it is a adrenal tonic, so it can help to strengthen the adrenal glands. It's also a mild laxative as well as anti-inflammatory and antispasmodic, so it can help to cleanse the colon as well as reduce spasms. And what I like about it mostly is that it also has demulcent action, so it can be used to soothe the lining of your gastrointestinal tract. And because it is an adrenal gland tonic, it would also help to promote peristalsis in the gastrointestinal tract that can help move your food down the esophagus and also out through your colon. Then the next herb I'm going to mention is astragalus root. Astragalus root. It is another adaptogen. It's also an immunomodulator, so great for stimulating the immune system to help you combat infections. And it also is a classic energy tonic that is used to improve physical endurance. So if you're athletic, you definitely want to check out astragalus root. And the last herb I am going to mention is lemon balm. Lemon balm. And it's actually a leaf. Let me make sure I get that on camera. Lemon balm. And what's great about lemon balm is if you have an overactive thyroid, it can help to reduce the thyroid's function. So if you're stressed out or hyperthyroidism, check out lemon balm. It's also a sedative, so it can help to relax the nerves, as well as an antidepressant. And whenever you're talking about depression, most of the time it's due to a calcium loss or a calcium utilization issue. And the parathyroid deals with calcium utilization. So I wouldn't necessarily say to increase your uptake in calcium, because then you start to play the isolate game, and then you can offset the magnesium levels, because calcium and magnesium are sisters in that sense. And if you're interested in using these herbs, so I'll start from Melissa officinalis or lemon balm and work my way back. So if you're interested in using lemon balm, it's a leaf. So leaves you would infuse or steep for about 10 to 15 minutes. So you take a teaspoon of the dried herb, infuse it into hot water, and let it steep for about 5 to 10 minutes. And if it's your first time using lemon balm, you want to start off with a quarter teaspoon to a cup. And then as far as the roots go, you have licorice root and also astragalus root. And with these, you can decoct. So decoctions, bring water to a boil and bring it down just slightly, just a little bit. It wouldn't be a vigorous boil, but just bring it up to a boil and lightly simmer these herbs for about 10 minutes. And with the roots, you can start off with half a teaspoon to a cup. And if it's your first time using it, start off with an eighth teaspoon. It's better to start off small and then work your way up when using these herbs, and then finding that right level of dosage that you feel you're comfortable with. All right. And that will conclude this live for stress and energy. I'll be live again tomorrow at 7:30 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. All right. Peace.
Spectate.
Feeling real good. Feeling like I never knock on wood. Studying my health, I think you should. Be a better you every day, keep it true. I'm feeling real good. Feeling like I never knock on wood. Studying my health, I think you should. Be a better you every day, keep it true, and be held accountable for everything that you do. Be surrounded by the ones that are loving you. Growing never sink unless you sinking in the shot. While you in the fourth quarter and the haters sit and watch. They don't wanna move. They wanna sit and talk, never do. Don't you worry about them, strive to improve. And when they gunning for your queen, kinda move. They don't wanna move. They wanna sit and talk, never do. Don't you worry about them, strive to improve. And when they gunning for your queen, kinda move. I'm feeling real good.